present is buying things wholesale. And the whole idea is you buy things at a cheaper price than it is at today. And I'm using this in the context of the markets are efficient, you don't have any inside information, you don't need any great insight. The market's priced everything correctly, right? So Microsoft today at $30 is a fair price. So you buy 100 shares of Microsoft at $100, again, just like dollar cost averaging. But instead of buying the other 100 and deciding to buy the other 100 at the end of the year, you sell a year out. This is January 2013, so this is next January, right? You sell the January 30 calls, which basically obligates you to sell the stock at $30. If the stock's above $30, you've got to sell, you can sell it off. And the price today, these are real prices, is about $2.75. And that essentially ends up giving you a covered call. You bought the stock and you've sold the call, right? And this is considered the very safe thing. Nobody's going to have a problem with it. The different thing is you sell the $30 puts. So that obliges you, if Microsoft is below 30, you're going to have to buy another 100 shares. If Microsoft's above 30, you don't have to do anything with that. Now both these you've sold, which means you're getting money in, right? And if you add them up, you're getting $5.50 for selling these obligations. So essentially that reduces your purchase price from $30, which you give out for the stock, and you're getting $5.50 when you sold both these options, which basically brings your basis down to $24.50, which is $18 off. And I've used the term MSRP as that's the correct, that's market determined price as of today. Okay, so now there's three scenarios. If Microsoft is greater than or equal to $30, right? You just have, you had sold the obligation to sell the stock, you're done basically. And I'm just simplifying it, but you're done, you've sold the stock, you bought it for $24.50, you sold it for $30. And that's your 22% return on investment for your year. The other thing that most people are more concerned with, and then the other thing is you can keep doing this. So you just go in and you start again, right? And if hopefully every year you make your 22% on your Microsoft stock, which otherwise you may not have made. If Microsoft is below $30, then now you've sold that put, which obliges you to buy the shares at $30. So you got to buy another 100 shares, just like you would. So this is, again, very much like if you were dollar cost averaging, right? So your average purchase price is now $27.25, again, quite close to the $27.50 as you dollar cost averaged. And in the same scenario where Microsoft was $25, you've lost a little less than if you dollar cost averaged. And again, the idea here is you did want to buy Microsoft at that price, right? So this is all predicated on the fact that you do want to own it. It's a long-term holding. But in using this mechanism, you can sort of generate a steady income. If it goes over, you've made the money. The other thing I think this does is it enforces a discipline. So the two worst things, like I said earlier, is greed and fear, right? So when prices go down, we don't want to buy, whereas this, in a way, forces you to buy it when they do go down. And when prices go up, we don't want to sell, and this, in a way, every year forces you to sort of confront that choice and make it a conscious decision that I want to stay in a Microsoft. So good candidates for this strategy are dividend-paying companies. So when you own the stock, you're getting the dividend. There's a low likelihood of bankruptcy, so you don't want stocks that are going to be going down steeply. There's no guarantees, but some companies you have, and again, your time horizon here can be a year, 2 years, 3 months, whatever it is you like. Volatility is another issue, but these premiums that I showed you, 275 and things like that, they're actually low right now. So when things are roiling in the market, those things can be actually much higher. So if your company stocks, you think these stocks are stable like J&J or Walmart, you can take advantage of the fact that the market's in flux, but your stocks are not changing as much. Again, this is for stocks you want to own long term. This is not for speculation. This is just an alternative to buying shares outright. And again, finally, this is just a technicality, but you want it to be in a liquid market so that in case your thesis changes, you want to get out, you can do it without incurring a big cost. I just picked these as some sort of examples of the kinds of stocks and the discounts that you could get at today's prices. And as you notice, like stocks that are much more volatile or the market's not decided about can be procured for a much bigger discount than stocks that are much more stable. But as you can see, it's, it ranges anywhere from 13 to 30%.
What is NP?
Sorry, net price. So that's the price of the stock today. I think this is outdated. But the puts and the calls are, if you sold the puts and the calls, that's how much money you'd get in. So this is how much you spend to buy the 100 shares. That's how much you get per share for selling the puts and the calls, and therefore, that's just a subtraction. So that's your wholesale price, if you will, of the stock, given that all these prices are fair prices today. So, in the case of Apple, you're getting Apple for $300 net today. So again, the key takeaways, I think, are that the concept that covered calls, which are considered so safe, they're treated very differently by the industry. But as far as you are concerned, from your broker's point of view, they're very different because he's taking on all these margin risks and those kinds of issues. But as far as you're concerned, if you have stock, you have all the downside anyways. And so in that case, selling puts is no different than having a covered call, which is just the stock and selling the call. Buy wholesale prices and sell retail. So in this scenario, the stock doesn't have to go up. So normally when you buy stocks at full price, the management has to do something right, and the company has to progress and do well for you to make a profit. Using this strategy, as long as the guy doesn't blow it up, you're fine. So the stock can be exactly where it was today, and you're still making the premium. And finally, this works if you're happy with the targeted gains, because what you are giving up is the unlimited upside. So that's the cost of this. So if you're happy with what you get and you don't care if Microsoft went to $40, then this works for you. But if you're going to be regretting that, then you're going to have to take the full risk. Okay, thank you.